Greetings, Rommies, and welcome to RumRum, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing, and to the second race of the Automobilista 2 Community Cup. Ike, as always, you are joining me for these exciting races. How are you, mate?
I'm doing absolutely fine, Citta. How are you doing tonight?
I'm very fine and looking forward to this race because Velo Citta is a roller coaster.
It is just a little bit. We were talking about that just before the qualifying session. This really is the best of, any number of tracks that you can pick out of a hat. We've seen elements of Laguna Seca, Spa. I pointed out that it has a similar feel to Donington, albeit a lot more interesting as we look through the floor. But it's a really, really interesting racetrack that's going to make for some. Well, if you thought that the Ginettas last time out were exciting in the twisty stuff, these Copa class cars are going to be even more so.
So I'm reading that there's an echo in our voices. Check why.
That's always a good one. No, I don't hear one.
You don't hear it? Okay.
I don't hear it. It could be someone having two streams over or something.
Because I don't see a reason here
Never mind, I had two videos open, too excited, obviously. Absolutely, and you have every reason to be excited as well.
Okay, been there, done that, so I'll give you a pass. But thanks for letting us know. It's always important to know that our stream is of the needed and wished for quality.
Absolutely. Hey there, Geeky, as well. Good to see you in chat.
So, as we were saying, this is like all the technical circuits that you can think of, put them all together, and you get this Brazilian track. In spite of the name, it's a Brazilian track, and we're gonna see some sliding around.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. These cars are not the most forgiving of cars when it comes to handling. Courtesy shout out to the AMSU boys running on the Mad Bro livery on the back of their cars. Which, another thing we've had giggles about.
Mad Bro and Guff.
Yes, and Guff on the rear arches. Just a moment.
Okay, give me a sec.
I would agree with you. It's difficult for me to tell because I've got the game sound up as well. But fantastic little cars. Unfortunately, a bit of a lack of variety going on with the cars chosen. It seems that the Chevrolet Chevelle has been Chevette is an entirely different car, is the favoured choice of the majority of the drivers, other than Mr. Paul Venter, who has just been deposed by Jacques, who has taken the old Scirocco, and my goodness, it looks good in the old Jägermeister livery. Jägermeister, sorry.
No, still no game sound, right?
Pass. Give me a moment. Yeah, still no sound for me.
Checked everything.
Is it showing up in OBS?
No. So it's not reaching the place that it should.
Yeah, I was gonna say, mate. You've got a separate streaming PC.
Yes.
This is the reason why I don't why I stream off of my own PC when I stream.
Yeah, well, there's reasons for the setup that I have.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it makes absolute sense. Yep, Chevette is the choice, and I will repeat verbatim what Captain Semicolon has said as well. These cars in this track are a good combination. It's all about maintaining the speed for the uphill sections, as the cars have such little power and such terrible gear ratios. To add to that, it is all about maintaining the stability of the car and getting exactly the right slip angle on the downhill sections as well. Hilariously, one of the only gentlemen who won't have to worry about any of that is the Scirocco of Mr. Paul Venter, because he has a front-wheel drive car. So he has to worry more about the chronic understeer that brings rather than the oversteer of getting it wrong in the braking zones. All about weight transfer, controlling the weight transfer in these classic touring cars, and doing everything that we can, or the drivers can. Lovely two-wheel moment there for Drewface as he comes back up the hill. We'll jump on board with him in just a second when he starts to come back down the hill. But it is all about controlling the body roll. Thankfully, recently updated in AMS2, and using the movement of the body, the pitching as you get on the brakes, as we see beautiful left-right chicane. Hey, I was commentating last week. Last time, 2 weeks ago. Good grief, I'm not good with time, am I? Drewface showing perfectly. There we go, sounds up.
Yep. Just had to set up the cable correctly. It was some strange thing with the cable. You test everything, you think you have everything ready, and then you don't have everything ready because life is there.
Life is a technical issue.
I'll have to remember that one for tomorrow at work.
I'll say you'll have to remember that for next month when we'll all be in the same place.
Oh yeah, Sim Racing Expo.
I see. No, that's fair. Thank you. It's nice to be commentating again. I must admit, the reason why I was invested in the MS2CC is because I had every intention of ditching commentary and actually driving. But I'll take commentary nonetheless. Drewface is under quite a bit more challenge this time out than what we saw last season, and from our last conversation with him last time when he won, he was all for it. Mr. Lewis is hunting that pole position. Don't know as he's going to get it. Let's see where his first sector is putting him this time around. Got a couple of seconds left until we get to that. But yes, it's. I had every intention of driving in this series, but the combox calls. Besides that, with my new job, it is very, very difficult to get in the time to practice. Up to the. That's the start-finish line. Yep. For one more go around. I think this is going to be as far. Yeah, he's going to be as far as Lewis can go. We'll stay with him until the end of this lap, unless he invalidates.
No,
of course.
That's not so. So that's not an invalidation. You can go out there without having issues.
Sweet.
So I drove this as I like to do. First of all, to get a good image for the thumbnail, but second, also to be able to say something about the track, and it's quite lenient with track limits.
Ah, yes, because if you overstep it too far, you're going to find yourself on the grass and in the barrier, which is going to be extra slippy today, as there was a forecast of rain falling just before the race is due to start. And while we're not expecting any rain in the race, it's going to be starting on a very, very green track.
Very wet, you mean?
Whoa!
He lost it.
That's what we were expecting.
Well, yeah. Like, you have to learn to be so precise here. Like, it took me, I don't know, half an hour or so of sliding, spinning, braking at the wrong place and so on, before I was able to just be smooth. And that's important here.
Yeah, absolutely. It is an interesting. So these cars, let's say, give a very interesting challenge to drivers. So you can set the car up to be stiff, control that body roll, control the pitching as much as you possibly can, and that'll give you a very sharp and very GT3-esque kind of handling where once you start sliding you can't stop. However, the other option is you can lean into that weight transfer and make a very soft car to drive that is also very lazy when it comes to the oversteer. So you can actually catch the slides that you might get into. That's generally the way that I tend to set up. Sorry, I was very worried there for a second. That's the way that I tend to set my cars up, is so that when it does slide, I can plant the throttle and get going. 17th, Chrissy H for the Independence car class, or cars, is going to go no further, whereas Flying Hawkick just coming around there. I thought that might have been the end of the session. So, run down from top to bottom, shall we? Once again, taking that pole position, but under a lot more pressure this time, is Mr. Drew Face from Kerb Clippers. From MVRC is Dan Lewis alongside. Second row will be Blankfile and J-Turn. Jay providing the SimHub data tonight. Thank you to him. Grandpa Bear and Loz Arch will make up the third row, and Tinez and Frim will take up the fourth. 9th and 10th will be Tex Mechanica and Evil Noodle respectively. Flying Hawkick will be 11th. KB will be in 12th. Lequando in 13th. Mugoti in for the RPM boys.
Mugoti. You
Mugoti.
Brits
Oh my goodness.
Should be able to know it.
Clearly Northern. Debline for the Independence class will be in 15th, Nessie 16th, Chrissy H 17th, Fav for the Independence in 18th, Jin in 19th, Metz, Tim Cullingworth, Roy Trianel, Project Spicy Tofu, who is Jacques Vermeulen from LNR, Paul the Wall, Venter is 25th and 24th and 25th is Norbulin, who was not able to set a time. How we are already aware of technical issues plaguing Niall's internet, so this is relatively unsurprising. Unfortunate, but unsurprising.
And special mention to Deblin, who is hailing from Mexico.
Ah, yeah.
Así que órale, buena suerte.
I'll take your word for that. Look at that ping, though. He's definitely not. He's definitely not lying with the nationality.
Well, and the colleagues from South Africa also have some ping issues.
Ping issues is for sure. Yeah. But we always get a bit of a break in between the qualifying and race sessions, which makes for a lovely break for us to take asides in our conversations.
Oh yeah.
I think the main thing that we need to discuss and talk about is, if you aren't subscribed to Vroom Vroom, do get subscribed and make sure you're keeping an eye on the channel because we will be in Germany next month. The whole team. Oh, time for tea. That's a really good shout. Later. The whole team will be converging in Dortmund, Germany for the Sim Racing Expo, the ADAC Sim Racing Expo, where there's a massive amount of manufacturers and developers coming to show their wares and give us an up-to-date on how they're doing, what they're doing, much like how we do in our weekly news podcasts, weekly news videos.
Yeah, no, we don't have a weekly podcast yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
But the way the podcast is going, I mean, we are...
it's only a matter of time. We are getting rain. We are
Can you get...
rain.
Exactly, thank you. Now I can put the sim hub on. Perfect. We are getting rain, but it should be subsiding just after the start of the race.
This is going to be a fascinating and difficult race for a lot of the drivers tonight.
Oh, yes.
Regardless of what happens, obviously, we will be doing our very best to keep you up to date with what's going on around the track. In line with that, we've got the new Vroom Vroom driver tower to assist us with keeping an eye on whatever AMS2 decides to give us as far as data is concerned. But with AMS, it's a bit hit and miss.
Yeah, they could do a better job of letting us get more information for our streams, but that's something that they know, and maybe they're gonna do something.
It's fine. We're working on it to make sure that we can get as much data as we possibly can out of the simulators and aggregate it into one UI that everyone will be able to interpret and enjoy, put it that way.
Yeah, that weather in Brazil is like that. Yeah, so
here we go. No warm-up laps. We are just away from the green line. To be very fair, it would be awful to have a warm-up lap here. Drew Pace actually got a awful start there coming down into turn one. He's going to lose out to Dan Lewis and Blankfile. Lewis with the whole shot into turn one, able to use the karting line. Yeah, we are absolutely expecting clean racing here. No sooner do I say it as Metz gets a bit of a tap, but that is just 5 cars into one. Doesn't go, I've got to say, as is that the two? Yeah, the 2NR boys are struggling with the conditions a bit further up the field. They're still going side by side into the second, more twisty section of the track. They come up the hill. This is Nessie that we are watching.
The interesting part is going to be downhill.
Absolutely, it's going to be that chicane. Who can get the braking right for the first time of asking? We'll jump back to the leaders in just a second when we get to the back, get to the top end of that straight.
Because that chicane downhill is going to be.
Yes, speaking of, Drew Face has already gotten back in competition for the lead. Has the racing line. It's an enormous slide for Dan Lewis. Very well held, sir. Under braking, maybe the brake bias is a little bit too far back there at the moment, Dan. But didn't, miss a change of lead. It's a big look up the inside for Dan Lewis. This is the only opportunity that he has got.
But the next one, he's outside, yeah.
But now he's trying to get a switchback, but it is a double right-hander. It's going to be really difficult to it's going to be really, really difficult to get a position from that particular maneuver. Yes, we appreciate we missed change of lead, but there is a lot of action going on here at the moment. And the spray, always a factor for these cars. Yes, there is definitely, can confirm, is rain. There is a lot of rain. It is clearly the wet season in Brazil at the moment. I love this view. Wish you could stick with that for longer.
I mean, Drew is getting a run for his money.
I think that part of the issue that he's got here is that he's having to drive defensively and he's losing lap time as a result of it. There is also the other opportunity that he might be trying to save his tyres as much as possible. Dan's trying to push and gain the lead, whereas Drew is trying desperately to drive as slow as possible while retaining that lead, possibly pushing Lewis back into blank file.
On the other hand, we expect the rain to subside in about 20 minutes or something like that. So saving tires is not going to be something that you want to do.
There is, but these tires do have durability, and as the tires wear down, they will lose the ability to have traction in the rain. So, as Davide is saying in the YouTube chat, drifting in the rain, it's a lot of fun, but you don't want to be using these tires up just in case it doesn't stop raining, because it wouldn't be the first time that the weather system has decided that it doesn't it doesn't want to play ball.
So John is saying on the chat that if you don't have an H pattern, Automobilista 2 forces you to have slower shifts.
Yes, because does he? So he'll have so he will have auto clutch on as well. So will he have to let off the throttle to? There we go. That's what we're looking for. So will he have to let off the throttle on gear changes? Beautiful little touch there from the noob's car. And blank file as odd.
Oh,
where has
worse? Yeah. Something happened.
Hands down in 13th. Typical.
So he may have lost control of the car.
So yeah, I dare say that. Well, this is what we were saying just now is that Lewis is. Yeah, this is what we were saying just now is that Lewis is probably trying really hard to keep with the leaders and push for that overtake. Meanwhile, the two Kerb Clippers cars at the top of the timing screens, that they can work together, and they had every intention of doing that. Lewis was just a fly in the ointment, so to speak.
But Lewis is really, you can see he's working the car a lot, maybe too much.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, this is where the maturity and the experience of Kerb Clippers is so vital and difficult, let's say, for anyone else to fight, because these guys know exactly how to make the tires last, know exactly how to keep the best in the tires as well. It looks as though we'll let Dan find his way to the next lot. What's Tex playing at? He's clearly letting the team down, being all the way back in 10th position and without headlights. Is Jay is looking to pressure. Yeah, I can't quite work out at the moment whether Grandpa Bear and Jay are working together, or if
there was a
that was Loz Archer and Frem getting together. Frem gets back on the track, and now it's going to be even more messy.
Oh man,
these conditions are challenging our drivers. I think it's fair to say.
Normally, the quality of driving is better, but with these conditions, the moment that one has an issue, then it snowballs from there.
Absolutely. There's no small incidents in the rain. There may be less speed going on, but there is exponentially less traction as well. Where are the fights? It is Tex who is on the defensive from Debline for the independence category. Who has got, it looks as though he's got grip at the moment. It looks as though Deb has more grip at the moment compared to the Kerb Clippers Chevette.
By the way, I'm sad that they are almost all driving a Chevette. I drove the Puma here and it was fantastic. Yeah, you can get the interval. Give me a sec. Up, up. There we go. Gap to leader or gap to the other car in front.
Gap to leader is probably best. I'm using the the gap between cars to work out where to be putting the camera at the moment. I think this fight here is about
everywhere.
There's quite a few battles around. Yeah.
You're welcome.
But again, this is, you can see the rain is starting to ease up now. Ever so slowly, it's starting to go. I think that this may be reducing in the rain a little bit less than we were expecting. So, once again, this is probably where Lewis has been led astray slightly, because he has been burning his rubber essentially, as that is Loz getting up the inside of KB. There we go. Good evening,
Marty. Missed you on the first race, mate. Nice to see you.
It's with Evil Noodle, but it's difficult. J-Turn. So we now have J-Turn, Tinez, and Grandpa Bear for the AMSU guys in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, respectively. Kind of forming a roadblock for Evil Noodle. I dare say that in these conditions, Evil Noodle may actually have more pace than the cars ahead. You just can't do anything about it, because, I mean, the 3 cars ahead are probably able to communicate and work together.
We sure hope so.
Yeah,
because
they may well be working together to try and to keep him behind.
Because this is a community cup, so.
And absolutely devastate. The driver who was pushing the others out should give him back. It's a really difficult. In fairness, that accident was an accident. It was a car. It's an accident over 2 corners. The incident started because 2 cars got together, and that is not an AMS2 thing. That is a reality thing. Once when you get 2 cars together, if the outside car doesn't turn out of the corner and essentially sacrifice that particular attempt, you're both going to be ending up wide at the very least, or at most you could end up spinning each other out. We've seen it plenty of times in real life racing, where a driver isn't quite aware of what's on the inside of them, and then that pushed them both back into a much bigger crowd of cars, and then who's Davex?
Davide.
I see. Okay, cool. And then obviously we once you're in that bigger crowd, negotiating, rejoining the track, etc., is just a nightmare. Just an absolute nightmare.
And as John said correctly, the Uno and the Mini got banned, so nobody is able to drive neither Uno nor Mini because those cars would be too easy to drive here. So they would be eating up. Whoa! Oh, somebody turned completely around. Who was that?
Evil Noodle.
Oh no!
I don't know what's going on with the. I don't know what's going on with the old commentator's curse tonight. But as soon as I cut away from someone, they seem to be having an accident. I don't like this. This is not something that I'm content with. Actually, Jay turns up behind as well. No, that's all spaced out a bit. Deadline is where the majority of the battle is. However, Metz saw in the background here, Metz is currently hunting Fav in the Independence. Trying to take the challenge to the 14th place car.
And Dan Lewis has made it to 7th position, so hey.
He's certainly getting the work done. That's for sure. He's only got 0.8 of a second to make up to Flying Hawkick for the RPM team. Oh grief, that's already... I tell you what, this might actually be worth watching. This was around this area that he made the mistake. But he seems to have recovered just fine. Let's see what kind of visibility he has whilst tucked up behind the... Oh, as he goes for a big look up the inside and is no longer stuck behind Flying Hawkick.
Yeah.
There he is. That was a fairly textbook pass. Beautiful block pass. Denying the apex of the corner from Flying Hawkick. I don't think he was quite expecting that in that what isn't mostly an acceleration zone. For Dan to be making an attack, but clearly is making it work. Big
break. Yeah, that break, I could feel it.
That wasn't bad.
No, it was not bad, but you could see in the way the car, the weight transfer of the car went, that there was a lot of fighting the car going on, a lot of convincing it to go the right way.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, 18 positions lost. It's not a good time. Not a good time. That said, Port Eleanor boys, for the most part, struggling, languishing at the bottom end of the field. Where is...
Yeah, I think he was talking about Frim from Noobs.
Yes, yeah. Right, where are the battles? Little Noodle is still hunting Nessie. J-Turn
and Tines. No, they are both AMSU. Forget it. There's
they're both. I was gonna say, they are formation flying really, really well.
Metz and Spicy Tofu and Jin.
Is there a... Yep, I did say that it was going to be Jacques taking the fight to the rest of the drivers in that Eleanor Jägermeister livery. But I wasn't expecting him to be fighting this far up. That is, some aggressive driving from Jacques. He is very new to AMS2. I dare say from where Jacques comes from, being able to have contact and have it not be race ending is a new thing. So he's probably taking every advantage that he can get at the moment to try and make pace. I love how the Madness engine handles spray. Yeah. It looks so like you know it's not real, and it's clearly not real. Actually, it might look better on your screen. No, it's clearly like it's too soft. It's too particly to be real. But the way that it's brought up and drifts back down to the ground is absolutely perfect.
this is the most difficult part of the track.
Oh,
You're
absolutely.
going downhill, you have those curve combinations, you have the chicane, and it's a non-stop of handling the throttle and the brake.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I see a Dan Lewis up in 6th position. He's gotten the better of Tex Mechanical for Kerb Clippers.
Well done.
But now he's under pressure from the Flying Hawk kick. I'm not sure if that gap is going out or coming in at the moment.
One thing that we have to say, especially after the 1.5 update of Automobilista, you have to use the racing line in the wet. You have to use it like in real life. Try to avoid the racing line of the dry, because it's not going to be of any use for you, and it can be even more slippery than the racing line in the wet. So that's part of the issues.
Spray. Looks just fine.
Yeah.
Oh no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Yeah, it's spot on. That's a shame.
It doesn't? Okay.
No, it looks really artifacty.
Okay, so in the monitor that I have here, but of course I'm nearer to the image than everyone else looking at YouTube. It looks fine, but yeah, I suppose when it arrives, maybe so. Captain, maybe check the quality settings. Maybe you can put it on a better quality.
So I did put it on the highest setting, and it is still a little bit is the wrong word.
Because often enough, YouTube chooses automatically the quality, and the quality that YouTube chooses is crap, and you can use better quality.
Totally agree, Raptor. Unfortunately, that's not something that we can do at the moment with AMS. Paul's given up because his VW was too slow. That's a shame. That is very sad. It's very sad. And that's also something that we can't do, Kevin, in AMS, because it is one of the drivers who is linked to what Raptor said. Unfortunately, it's one of the drivers who is feeding us this data, because we AMS2 doesn't give. No more voices. Oh, Mez just got pushed off by Fav there.
Not good.
However, that gives the LNR car of Jacques Vermeulen another position up into 15th position for no voice.
Huh?
No, voice is fine.
We're talking?
Drinking tea. No, we didn't go anywhere. We were talking just fine.
Strange, because I didn't touch anything in with regards to sound. So
Technicals. It's all good. Yes. So yeah, unfortunately, we aren't able to have those sorts of things. It's in the works. It's in progress. We do have plans to be supporting that in sims such as rFactor 2 and ACC, where we can actually get the data as spectators. That is an early pit stop for Metz, I think. Who is that into the pits? Where have you gone? No, it is Mugger for the RPM boys, who is into the pits. This is a brave early look into the pits. He's not the only one.
No, there's a couple already.
Is Debline, Evil Noodle. They're all moving around. Metz, KB, Muggerty, and Royford 3NL into the pits. Now, I think Dan Lewis.
And it's I don't know
Yes.
if the track is dry enough.
Well, we will jump on board. On this side of the track, it is absolutely on the money for slick tires. On this
Really?
part of the track. Yeah, absolutely.
Ouch!
Yeah, oh no!
Ouch!
Oh, that's awful. Who is that in 15th? Jin. That's so unfortunate. Dan Lewis is now going to be carrying damage to the end of the race.
Yeah, he turned around and Chrissy and Dan crashed into him, unluckily.
Yeah, nothing they could do about that.
No.
This is a strategy call by Dan Lewis to try and get the undercut, because that's the only way that he's going to get any kind of pace difference against Drew Face and Blankfile at the end of the day. Drew Face immediately feeling threatened by that and is already taken to the pits to respond.
And Kevin, if you want to see something differently than GT3, you are at the right place, because the Automobilista 2 Community Cup races different cars and tracks at every race.
And you're on the right channel as well, because we don't like GT3 racing. No,
well, yeah,
we're okay.
we do like GT3 racing, but we like all kinds of racing.
Yeah, we like all racing. We don't have the over abundance of GT3 racing at the moment is upsetting, I think is the word. Absolutely can see why it's been so popular. The time correct pit crew is great. Absolutely agree. That's precisely the reason why I sat on the pit stops, because we have so many sims that just have the car sit there and do nothing, and it's way more entertaining. This is gonna be close.
Yeah, but
Dan being pushed onto the wet stuff, his tires are going to suffer from that. However, he has promoted himself up to 4th and is only, quote in very large speech marks there, only 18 seconds off the back of 20 seconds off the back of Drew Face now. And with no one in between, there is every possibility this could be a fight to the end if Dan can pull out qualifying laps on every single lap for the rest of this race.
Michael, we need 18 qualifying laps.
That's the one.
The track is quite dry already. There's a couple of places where you see it be darker, but mostly it's slick time.
It's a difficult time to be on any tyre at this moment. So Blankfile and Grandpa Bear are stuck out as long as they possibly could. They have gone until the track is definitely dry. It is definitely slick weather. They will have no issue with that. However, the pace that the more experienced drivers, Dan proving exactly my point that I was about to make, the more experienced drivers will absolutely be able to maximize the amount of grip from the slick tires on the inclement or crossover conditions. There will be a pace that the leading drivers had in mind to be able to change over tires. At that point, it's doable. That was a very big cut. However, the issue is now that the track is still very green. It's dry, but it's green. There's no rubber down. There's no real racing line as you would traditionally know it. So with fresher tires, people like Blankfile, Grandpa Bear, fresher tires and a green track, they will have more grip, and they will have more grip until the end of the race. Not by a massive amount. This is an F1. but it will be noticeable mostly in the acceleration points and in the braking zones. If they can use that tyre advantage, this might not be out yet.
Ooh, nice. But now we can see even better than in the rain how slidey these can be and how much compression you get through the curves, and because it goes up and down and all that. So yeah.
Suffered damage in controlling the car is difficult. Absolutely agree. Tyre wear's not a thing in these cars. Oh, really? That's unfortunate.
Not well. Yes, they do have tire wear, but it's not gonna be as big as in F1 or GT3. Speaking about GT3, so this may or may not be the time to say that from about the middle of October you will be able to see GT3 racing in our channel, because we are going to show the races of the what's it called?
Evolution Racing Academy.
Exactly.
Evolution Racing Academy is a community that runs in Assetto Corsa Competizione and is slowly expanding out to other sims. And they have a Sunday championship with 4 classes of GT3 car, going from Pro to Am. So it's Pro, Pro-Am, Silver, and Am. And drivers get divvied up into those splits. And yes, Vroom will be covering both of those. Splits. It's an interesting one next season. Okay,
it's gonna be difficult because I don't know how to do the technical thingy for that.
I can do that. That's fine. So we will at least have one of the splits, but there is an interesting conversation going on about possibly running Pro-Am, Silver, and Am all in the same lobby, which means that the Pro split is going to be all of the very, very fast, very esports, very pro drivers, as the name implies. And for the rest of the classes, they'll have to deal with a very large skill gap. Going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of... Where is Tinner's gone? Why can't I read this? There we go. There's going to be a lot of traffic and passing and overlaps in talent. It's going to be very interesting. Also, I'm driving a Mercedes AMG in that season.
That's why you won't be commenting.
That's why I won't be commentating, because I will be driving in that particular championship.
Oh, at last we can say bad things about you in the stream.
Oh, believe me, I will show you the meaning of slip angle in ACC.
There's a reason why I'm commentating the races and not driving, you know. So
yes, absolutely. The thing is that we're all
see that compression. That's fantastic to see.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Over the start-finish line. This is an interesting one, as Vermeulen has got a poor drive out of the final corner, now getting hounded by the independence of Fav and the noobs car of Frem, they're both going to get together.
So which position are we saying?
Sorry, 15th at the moment, Fav.
Right.
It was including the LR driver of Tofu, or Jack Vermeulen. But he has somewhat absconded with these two fighting a little bit so scrappily. RTP, there is an AMS2 Community Cup Discord that you can join and get involved. We do encourage, so the encouragement is to encouragement is to bring a community along, but we do also have independent entries that will fill in the gaps. John, there is 12 minutes 50 seconds remaining. So another big... I tell you what, Fab's really holding his own against the Noobs Taekwondo driver.
So can we go to 4th and 5th?
Absolutely.
Because that's very interesting. Tex has... So Dan Lewis is already on 3rd.
Yep.
And the interesting thing is Tex has been able to wedge himself between Tines and Grandpa Bear.
Yep.
And if we have 12 minutes to go, I would say Dan is gonna be at least dangerous to blank file. I don't know about Drew Face.
I think Drew is out of reach. The sheer amount of consistency that he's had, that gap has actually ended up opening up. This may actually play into Tex's late pit stop strategy that he had in mind. Why are we using that camera? Come on. There we go. But Tex, again, missing the apex there, though, showing how difficult that chicane can be. Up in Grandpa Sloan, yeah. Ah, okay, so is it... yeah, beautiful, beautiful countryside there. Lovely, lovely hill. I'm sure we'll have a look at that another time. Yeah, I'm interested in what's going on here because we've got Grandpa Bear in between we've got Tex Mechanical in between the Tinez and Grandpa Bear MSU cars. Tinez is trying to push thank you very much, Citta. Tinez is trying to push Tex Mechanical back in towards Grandpa Bear to secure a position for MSU. Meanwhile, we have J-Turn coming up from 7th. He's only 3 seconds out from this. With 10 minutes to go, if that is what Tinez is attempting to do, this could well be a 4-car fight by the end of the race.
It's invalid expired.
If you only just
got to check.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you only just captured it. I didn't even look at the position gained lost. Who's gained the most over the course of this race? That is Vermeulen with 9 positions. I tell you what, in one of the series we should have like a hard charger award for the most positions gained. Something like that. That would be fun.
We are already awarding the 3 best communities.
I know, but that would be a fun thing to do.
They are getting Steam vouchers for 50, 30, and 20 euro worth.
Yes, I think that's another one of those issues that you have to be really careful with financial incentives, let's say, because we don't want to encourage dirty racing or cheating or anything like that.
Oh, absolutely.
But we also want to encourage the drivers to be driving their best.
So that's strange. I'm sorry, RTP, that you cannot get in there because the invite should be working.
Nope, can't really help. There's nothing we can do. Oh, that was a big dive up the inside for Tex. Don't know if that was avoidance as much as anything else. Clearly wasn't sure of that.
looking at another side, Dan is something like 2 seconds away from blank file only. So
it's not going to be long.
Yeah, that's going to get interesting very soon.
Yeah, speaking of interesting, we've got interesting now as they come 3 wide down into sector.
Don't do that! Don't do that!
That was... So there's Laquando that came off the worst there. That's a really... I think that was Fav putting his nose in where it didn't belong, and absolutely, there you go.
And giving the position back.
I think he thought that too. Yeah. I get that. I get that. I don't think that was a... that was definitely not on purpose. Put it that way.
No.
That said... Oh, boot flapping on the Frem car.
Oh, for long already.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. That's really cool.
That's a consequence of something that happened in, I don't know, lap 1, 2, or 3 or something like that. So yeah, that's been flapping for a long time.
Yeah.
As long as we've been flapping around, so.
But here we go. So this is where the pressure is going to be mounting here for Vermeulen. 15th and 16th. We're looking at Laquando.
Yeah, maybe go to Dan Lewis because he's very near. He's very near to blank fire. Okay.
Not quite. When it gets under a second, we'll have a look, because that is going to be the fight for second position, which is far more interesting. However, this is the potential for pressure here for Vermeulen. Plenty of practice in other sims, but not in AMS. Who's that's just gone out? That is Cullingworth? No, that was Metz taking a very odd line over the start-finish line.
We'll call it that.
Yeah, interesting dive there. It's again one of those things. I really wish that we had replay tools here.
Yeah.
Yes, duck it indeed. So this is the thing: is Laquando can't get past Vermeulen. Whatever the pace difference is between the two of them, there is no opportunity for Laquando to make that position, and so he's slowly being pushed back in towards the chasing cars, and then suddenly what's happening here? Suddenly he's under pressure once again from Fav in the independence class, and Metz for MVRC as well. So Vermeulen has been able to stand up to the pressure. Now what can Laquando do with the independence chasing? Just jump on board with Metz. Less than 1 second. You're absolutely right. So Laquando is still able to defend here for the time being. Gets the exit. But is leaving space. That's the main thing. Probably highlights video later. I wish.
So no, we can save the replay, but the issue is that editing and publishing editing the highlights takes a long time, and we prefer then to produce the news and something like that. So if we would have somebody who cuts the stuff based on
when we have
a
full-time member of staff,
yeah.
When we're able, when one of us is able to do this full time, believe me, there will be highlights videos of all of the races that we cover.
Oh yeah, gladly.
If you want to help us get there, Tex has it. Did Tex get it?
No.
No.
He's still between Tines and Grandpa Beer.
Yeah. So this is the interesting fight. 3 minutes, probably too
Dan
much.
is half a second away from blank file. We may want to take a look at that.
This is where we are now. Yeah, Tex almost made it past Tines then. Yeah, this is the fight that we're interested in. This is over the 2 podium positions. Time check: 3 minutes and 9 seconds. Shame we have to do real jobs too. Absolutely. If you want to help us get to the point where one of us can spend our time doing these sorts of things as highlight videos and things like that, then you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/vromvrom. Do you have that overlay ready?
No, but I can show. So Nightbot decided that now was the right time, and it was the right time.
Very nice, Nightbot. Yeah, if you think that what we're doing is worth supporting, then you can support us over at Patreon. That is the most effective way to support us. We also have channel members enabled if you want to support us through YouTube. Blank is off. I didn't see.
Oh yeah.
Where's Blank from?
Behind Dan Lewis already.
I was looking at that. I did the.
So I was so concentrated on Dan that I didn't see where he go.
We were both looking at spreadsheets. That's what was happening. That's unfortunate.
That would have been a great fight. So let's go back to Tech then.
Yes, we are looking at Tex, who is still fighting tooth and nail to make it past these AMSU cars. Met second place?
No.
He fell off.
Oh,
big slide for Tex. Big slide for Tex. Has gone for the attack on Tinez and has lost it all on his own. This could be the position lost to Jay as well. If he's not careful.
Grandpa almost T-boned him.
I mean, no fault of Grandpa Bear there.
No,
obviously.
I mean, if the car in front of you says, "Hey, I'm gonna go for 180,"
yeah, what can you do? What can you do at that point? Unfortunately, it's a case of what? Oh, and it will be Jay going around the outside to take that 6th position. So as it was, Kerb Clippers in the top 3. It is no longer.
But not that much in the top. Whoa! Man, both trying to do some dorifto.
Yeah, that's a little bit brave from Tex, I think. A little bit of desperation, maybe a little bit of lack of reflection going on.
I mean, there's. I understand if you get at some point that you say, "Well, I was about to get 4th, and now I'm 7th. I hate you all." So you hate the world.
Absolutely understandable.
Ooh, Blank is losing time there. But Tinez is too far away to.
It's enough. Yeah, I think it's enough that it's not going to be an issue. I think this is the final lap and the final straight as well. And it is going to be, once again, Drewface comes across the line and will take home the 2nd victory. Shockingly, it is going to be Drewface after falling so far back. A mixture of raw pace and extreme bravery with the strategy call as the track dried out that is going to take 2nd. Blankfire will be disappointed to have made that mistake late on in the race, but will come home in a safe 3rd position. The AMSU cars of Tinez, Grandpa Bear, and J-Turn come along in the 4th, 5th, and 6th positions, scoring solid points for them, with Tex Mechanical in 7th position, trying with the reverse entry method of turn 1. Flying Hawkick will take home 8th position, with Loz Archer for the Independents in 9th. That was the first of the Independents, followed up also by Debline in 10th. Evil Noodle for the NRT team will come home in 11th. Nessie in 14th, so NRT 12th and 13th. Noobs will come across the line to finish in 14th, and Jacques Vermeulen, if he can just hold off the final straight, which I think he'll be able to quite handily. 15th position for the debutant from Logistical Nightmare Racing's Lycrado for Noobs will come in 16th. Fav for the Independents in 17th. Really, really good try for Fav. Really hard fought. Shame that the contact came late on in the race, but behaved absolutely perfectly and is doing what we all love to see, and that is some donuts. Tim Cullingworth will come home in 18th. 19th will be Metz. Chrissy H for the Independents in 20th. 21st will be Jin. Roy 33NL will survive to the end. And Muggety will come home in 23rd. Elo is disabled on this particular server. We're going to lose out quite a few drivers. Not Elo is disabled for this race, so the it won't be counting towards anybody here. Right then, we have people who want to come and talk to us.
Really? Damn.
We do. I dare say that this is probably the first person that we would want to speak to. Mr.
Absolutely.
Drewface, you've done it again.
Congratulations.
You make it look easy. You really do. How was this race?
This race was a race of 3 laps and then the rest. So I knew the fight with Dan was going to be tight and exciting, and it was. It's just a shame that it only lasted 2 and a bit laps. The race pretty much went to plan. Qualifying, I could have gone a little bit faster, but hit some traffic. And then with the race, frustratingly in qualifying, I'd had a spin, so my wheel wasn't pointing straight. So when we hit the grid, I didn't know if my wheels were pointing forward or if they were pointing left or right. So when I pulled away from the grid, I realized, I was at 180 degrees to the right, so that meant I got a terrible start.
That's why.
And then, I got a little squeeze from Dan on the right. I'm not sure if he knew that Blank was on my inside. We were 3 wide into turn 1. So there's not much I could do to avoid that contact being in the middle. And then that first lap battle was, really, really good fun. I think we showed enough respect to each other, but also had a bit of hard racing because these cars can rub each other, which is fun. And then, I'd had exactly the same moment that Dan had the lap before. I'd found out in practice that the green on the outside of turn 1 is extremely slippy, and if you are on it, you're better just to lift off and cost yourself a second rather than spin. And then I look in my mirror on lap 3, and it was really sad to see that happen because I knew the race had the sting taken out of it a bit. As you can see from our best laps, we're less than a 10th apart. Qualifying, we were only a 10th and a bit apart. Practice, we were less than a 10th apart, so that race had the potential to be amazing. It's just a shame that he had that slight mistake.
But he did do an absolutely amazing job to get back to second.
Yeah, I think he nailed the in lap for the weather. I'd already made up in my mind to just follow him because I thought he's probably going to be the guy who takes the earliest risk in order to try and gain back as much time as he can. Looking at the delta, I didn't lose. I think I lost less than a second, so I was fine pitting the next lap. And then Blank, I think, lost 4, 5, maybe more seconds by pitting a lap later. So that really didn't help his fight for P2. But then to see Dan out of the top 10 on lap 3 and then have him finishing in P2 is just quite an amazing drive.
Yeah, absolutely. How much of that were you actually able to focus on, or was it very much head down, keep the car underneath you? Was there any concern with regards to the wet tyres making them last for yourself?
No, I'd kind of checked out after lap 4. I just spent most of my time chatting to the guys in my stream and just ticking over the laps. A little bit of focus to make sure we got the in lap right, which I think we got right, and then. Towards the end, just trying to get the fastest lap. I knew Dan would be pushing for it as well. It was really interesting coming around the second to last turn. I could see Dan going down into the chicane following Blank. So I was able to judge the gap based on where they were on track. And the fact that every time I came around that corner, he was in exactly the same place showed that we were lapping at exactly the same pace. So yeah, I pushed as hard as I could to get the fastest lap in the last couple of laps. But other than that, no, it was quite a boring race from my end.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to give you something more interesting with the more capable cars that will be coming up throughout the rest of the season. But
yes, very much looking forward to the next ones. This wasn't my favourite combo, so to come out of it with a pole and a win, we'll take it. But I'm very much looking forward to slightly more exciting cars.
Perfect. Well, you have a lovely rest of your evening. Cheers for dropping in and saying hi.
Cheers. Thanks, guys. Thanks again for the stream and for commentating. Really appreciate it.
Our pleasure. By the way, before we go to the next race is going to be on the 11th of October, Wednesday, and it's going to be Super V8 on Bathurst.
That's
Mount
going to be
Panorama
insane.
is going to be eating you alive in a Super V8.
Sweet. Yeah. Have a lovely rest of your evening, Drew. Thank you very much for dropping in by. We've got to say hi to the man who has, I think, done the most work throughout the course of this race. Dan Lewis, welcome to the Combox. How was that for you?
It was rather eventful, shall I say?
Yeah.
Just
I recommend it, Drew. If he wants to spice his race up, have a spin in the first few laps. You'll have a great laugh, honestly.
Congratulations on making second in spite of everything. That was a great drive.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it was just... I don't think I overtook that many cars on track. There was only 2 or 3 cars on track. A lot of it was just done with an earlier pit stop. I was glad to see everyone going deeper because I knew these cars, the slicks can handle quite a bit of wet. I probably could have come in a lap earlier, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, had I known you a Welsh, I would have made a comment about you knowing how to handle your rain. But
yeah, we won't go there.
No, absolutely. Don't. We're going into that awful time of the year again where it's just constant. But yeah, no, it's absolutely shown the true test of your metal today. To have such a tiny mistake give you such a setback in the course of the race, and to be able to climb back from that as well, just shows how much of a classy racer you are, and how much of a privilege it is to have you hopefully bringing the fight to Drew through the course of the series.
Yeah, pity that Blank slipped and we didn't see the battle that we were expecting.
Yeah, my tyres were just starting to cook as well. I was pushing quite hard going into that situation. Where in one way I was quite glad, but in another way I was looking forward to a bit of a dice. But yeah. But after the spin, I think I was 16 and a half seconds down. It finished 20, so... I think second is a fair position for me today, even without the result. Credit to Drew.
Yeah, he's a very formidable opponent, isn't he?
Oh, you need to be at the top of your game. I sort of understand what everyone says about Lewis Hamilton now, and other drivers fought against him, and you need to be 100% every single round. That's exactly what you need. But it's good fun. It's good fun.
Absolutely. Well, as you probably heard us say, next time out it's the V8s at Bathurst. Is that going to be a fun stomping ground for yourself?
Yeah, it's actually our choice. It's our community's choice. So I'm quite comfortable there. I think everybody's got a slight fear of the mountain, but that's a good thing. It'll definitely be fun. It'll be 100% be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as we can, as long as there's no real big deaths that we miss, that's the main thing. But we'll let you go and get prepared for that. Cheers for dropping by. And,
thanks guys. Thanks for the stream.
Hopefully see you again. Cheers.
Sorry,
no, you're good. Hopefully see you on the top step next time out.
One day.
Cheers, man.
Bye.
And finally, to round out our podium, we've got to grab into the combox Mr. Blankfile. How was that as far as a challenge goes?
quite difficult. Fighting Drew is always, a losing battle on my end usually, but we try. I finished P3, same spot as I started, so I can't complain. But I got teased quite hard with the second there. And just what actually happened there with my off, I basically shifted in the second gear and it didn't go into gear, so the rear end took a little bit of balancing again, let's just say. So that cost me quite badly. But I'm actually quite happy with P3. So yeah.
Good. So you should. And it is, as Citta just said, we were gutted that we were robbed of a fight between you and Lewis. But it nonetheless it's a good finish. It's more points for Kerb Clippers. And supporting Drew like that. I mean, there was a point where Kerb Clippers were looking as though they were going to be rounding out the top 3 again. Like we've seen before, but it didn't come to pass today.
No, and the AMSU made good points. I mean, 4th, 5th, and 6th. That's not nothing. So
yeah, we always try.
Do you think you're going to be under threat from any other communities through the rest of these races?
Oh, obviously, we've got a big target on our backs. Yeah, even from the last season, and then the targets only grew. So we always have to practice enough, prepare our strategies. We always communicate what's the best strategy, or for the race. Didn't quite pan out for me because I pitted the lap too late, but yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. But again, it's all a learning curve. It's all about preparation, and hopefully we'll get to see some more success from you through the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be back on the podium. So
yeah, absolutely. It's good to have you in the com box as well. Hopefully, we'll get to see a lot more of you over the course of the season. All right.
Thanks for being here.
Good night, everyone.
Cheers for saying hi. Catch you in a bit, mate. And what we will do very quickly is just have Fav, if he is around. There we go. Fav, an independent entry in the AMS2 Community Cup. How on earth was that for you?
Well, this is unexpected. I didn't finish last, so I'm happy.
Good. And you were involved in some quite vicious racing, I think is fair to say. You were very close with quite a few cars there. How was that in this race?
Stressful. I thought at some point that I would basically get into place, get into position, get into a rhythm, but it sort of never happened because it was always either someone in front feeling like they slowed me down, or someone behind me feeling like they are threatening my position, so I never settled in. But in the end, I had a lot of fun. That's why I do racing, to have these great races. And I didn't expect... I honestly expected to be dead last with how many quick people are in these races. So I'm happy I could get some good racing in. At one point I had like a 4-way battle on me.
Yeah, I think we saw part of that as well. Really, really good sportsmanship from yourself as well. I believe that you made a mistake going into the chicane that impacted a couple of drivers, but utmost sportsmanship. These things do happen, and good on you for holding up the values of AMS2CC as well.
Yeah, that was a bit of a weird one because I kind of felt sandwiched, kind of didn't think I hit anyone, but AMS magnetism did its thing, and ultimately, it was my fault. I shouldn't have been there in the first place. So I asked them, they agreed that it was my fault, and I waited.
Absolutely no one here judged you harshly. It's a really easy mistake to make, especially when you're the third car in a battle. It always gets more complicated and things like that. And even in the stream, or like even live, as soon as we saw that you were lifting off, it was like, yep, good on you. That's the right course of action. Well done.
Yep.
So for an independent, absolutely well done. Top-notch driving. Hopefully we get to see more of you in the course of the season.
Thank you. Much appreciated. And yeah, I'll be hoping to join more races. It's great fun.
That would be really good fun. Have a lovely rest of your evening, Fab, and we'll catch you another time.
Bye.
Cheers. And finally, we have a Mr. J-Turn. Interesting race for yourself. How was it? Tell us everything that you want to tell us.
It was intense race. Race definitely of two halves, kind of a football saying, I guess, that one. But the wet part I was struggling with. Then I thought, oh great, it's dry, and then I felt like I was struggling in the dry as well. I got to watch an epic battle with two AMSU guys, Tinez, G-Bear, and of course Tex at the end. For most of the second half of the race, they were having a cracking battle, and it was only their battle that allowed me to keep pace with them. But I'm happy with my position. But yeah, cracking race. Hope the stream went well. Sounds like it did.
There was an interesting line that Tinez was pushing Mechanica back in towards Grandpa Bear. Was there any grounds to that, or is it literally they were fighting as independent drivers, just making sure that they aren't taking each other out as teammates, obviously?
I think there was there's certainly no team instructions or anything like that to do that. Early on, I think it was G-Bear, or was it Tinez? I can't remember. But early on in the wet, I think it was G-Bear, was clearly quicker than me. He got aside next to me, and I just there's no point in fighting my own teammate in a corner. Yeah. So I'll let the clean overtake happen and tried to keep up. After the pit stops, Tinez got a really good pit stop, came out, and he managed to keep it in front. And I think it's always harder to be chased than be the chaser. I'm certainly more comfortable trying to chase somebody down rather than constantly trying to keep somebody behind me. So maximum respect to Tinez for that feat of driving, and for G-Bear and for Tex and for everybody. It was some incredibly close racing. There was a little incident at the end there. I think it was very much a racing incident, and that was the only reason why I got past Tex, really, because of that incident. It was otherwise I think Tex would have been ahead of me.
Oh, absolutely. No, I totally agree. It was very much. It was very much, you made that position because of the fighting ahead of you. But again, you make your own luck. You need to be in the right place at the right time to be able to make these positions that are available. And you were there. You did the work. You put yourself in the position to make that space. And in the end, it was a 6th position that allowed you to gain more points for AMSU. Obviously, it'll be the 2 Kerb Clippers ahead that are taking the majority of the points, but 3 in the top 6 for MSU can't hurt at all.
Yeah, that's a good result for the...
So the top 2 of each team actually score. So my score won't go towards Team AMSU. It'll be Tinez's and G-Bear's scores. So 4th and 5th. We don't count the 3rd place rather. We don't count for each team. But also that goes towards my driver's points. But I was kind of, as I was going there, I was kind of loitering, thinking, well, if something does happen, I'm here to be another AMSU driver to pick up the points. If you see what I mean. There was an element of that. If it all goes wrong with the close battling they were doing, I was there to claim some points.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the way that AMS2CC seems to have been set up from the ground up, is to have everything is belts and braces. There's backups on backups, and there's always we know how difficult sim racing is to organize, and so you can see all the experience in all the measures that you've put in place over the seasons that we've had to make sure that it will go ahead and there will be a reliable point scoring, basically.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully. I've done it the second year of this, but I've been doing sim racing, organising for a long time, so I've got used to it. But if there's any communities out there watching thinking, oh, this is a championship I think we as a community could take part in, I'm really sorry you're too late for this year. But we want it to be an annual championship. It usually runs from late August, early September through to Christmas. So keep an eye out on the old Riser forums and on the ROM channels and Discords, because I'm sure the information will be up there. But that's the sort of time of year in 2024 if you're thinking you might want to take part, to get in touch.
There we go. I don't think we can offer that advertisement any better than that.
No. Right, I'll leave you guys to it. Fantastic stream. I'm going to watch it later, I'm sure. Thank you for all your effort, and thank you everybody for watching.
Have fun.
There you go. Cheers, mate. Have a lovely evening.
All right. Ike, any last words from you?
No, I think that the drivers have all taken any of the words that I could possibly have left to say. As always, be excellent to everybody. Be excellent to each other. It's a very difficult time in the world. Sim racing is a wonderful break, and the sheer gentlemanliness that all of the drivers here tonight have shown is a perfect example of what's possible with sim racing. So thank you to all the drivers for being that high standard. And yeah, if we can take that into the wider world and continue to be excellent to each other, maybe we can make it a little bit better.
Good words. I just have to say 11th of October, Bathurst. It's gonna be at least as interesting as this race. And until next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other at the podium.
Bye-bye.
Bye.